So we got a newsletter to talk about here. So there's actually some interesting stuff going on with that right now. Is that the only thing that they dropped? Okay, the trailer is and all that shit's probably in here, but I can't play it on here. So this I actually wasn't expecting. New support requests for custom matches are coming. EMP buys. Jam the enemy's radar to help your allies advance, and scramble, let your allies respawn instantly, a more strategic way to deploy than ever. It's interesting that right out of the gate, they talk about this being just for custom matches. So extended rules, basic match plus, and mix-up plus have been added, which will allow for 2 new support requests. EMP blast is a request for assistance that will only be used on the ground and drops a special blast that generates an electromagnetic pulse that damages electronic equipment systems. The pulse will be expected to have the effect of hindering the enemy's advance by staying in place over a wide area for a relatively long amount of time. Man, so you're talking about stun and jam. When hit by the blast, the following effects will be given for 20 seconds. Radar failure disables the skills, observational data link, yada yada yada. Disables ASL weapons and unable to receive information spotted by allies. So that's the usual shit for jamming. In addition, no effect given to friendly units in the EMP blast. In case of normally friendly artillery support, it's necessary to confirm no allies are nearby, otherwise they'll want to avoid taking damage. However, with this EMP blast, it's possible to approach your enemies suddenly and launch an attack in combination with the blast. Enemy team will not be informed of whether or not they will be bombarded by the usual artillery support or EMP blast. Damn, okay. To be honest, they probably shouldn't be notified for that anyway, but still. Let's see, assistance request scramble. Once the battle lines have collapsed, one of the strategies for GBO2 is to wait to go with allies. Of course, it depends on the situation, such the number of mobile suits remaining HP and whatnot. Have to wait for the allies for a counterattack. But you no longer have to wait for this with the second new support request, Scramble. It's a little tricky to know how to use. Let me give you an example. If you could affect your allies have been wiped out, but the enemy team has really little HP remaining, you want to attack again before they recover for another attack. So there's different button prompts. So the usual ones on circle, triangles, EMP, and square scramble. Could be effective against units like that, yeah. Higher cost battles will no longer relaunch times, make more effective requests to support. So this is what it's going to look like, and it'll tell you the prompts on there. These 2 new support requests are elements that will significantly change the balance of playstyle of the basic and mix-up game modes. Therefore, we believe the value of your rating, which is the indicator of your skill in rating match, will fluctuate, and it will be affected. The quick match playlist, in which players can casually go out and compete. Okay. This is why we're only allowing these new support requests in custom matches. Please enjoy the little expansion on playstyle and a bit more fun. That's kind of weird. It is interesting though that like they're extending this to quick match in the idea of not including it, since it's supposed to be more casual, but I guess it would also, they wanted to match the experience that you would eventually go in for rating outside of the usual quick match like brain rot. Alright, moving on though. We have, I actually want them to pull the trigger one day on actually adding these just to the normal modes. I don't know if they'll ever do that because of this explanation, but it would be kind of cool. Moving on, we have the Sazabi, which is something that we saw leaks the other day. Yeah, it's based on the new Gundam statues and stuff. So the FF Sazabi, life-size new Gundam statue coming to the battlefield. So DH funnels with the mobile suit, you can use a high firepower beam cannon carried on its body. In addition to familiar funnel modes such as Pursue and Pincer, it's also effective in restricting the enemy's actions with a beam that continues irradiating the locked target for a certain period of time, and then launching the main attack with the unit. So that's really cool. This actually does have like a mean beam lock on, where it actually fires them like together, which is cool. Last but not least, yeah, it's gonna be this week. Does that mean we're gonna get some other kind of thing for the Sazabi? What's going on with this? As part of the Locust Red Common and standing statue of the Sazabi will be installed at the base camp. Yo, okay, that's cool. You may see a new Gundam statue in Fukuoka, but you can only see the Sazabi in GBO2. Another photo up, I guess. That's neat that they're throwing it in the base camp at least. I don't know what they would do unless this is just going to be a different banner. Yeah, supply job based on all these. Another announcement soon and include a special supply drop mission for all of you too. Oh, limited missions? Ooh. Okay. So I guess you're not going to learn about that until the actual update itself. So in general, not too much stuff in here. This is almost inconsequential, which I think is a little unfortunate. It'd be kind of cool to mess with these. Although if it's not going to reflect play in like rated or quick match, I don't think a lot of people are going to mess with it too much. Outside of maybe just like special events or whatever. But the Sazabi is interesting. I don't know if we're going to see too many of these during clans unless it's just really barfy. And kind of supersedes some of the other supports that have been just like suppressed really hard at this cost. But you never know, right? I'm also kind of interested in this banner because it looks like it's just going to be a lot of the other Char and like commander units and stuff. So Nanji's in there, the CCA and all that shit, and the Zeong. But if the rates aren't super crazy, and it's kind of whatever. You know, spectator for duels and more duel maps. All I want. Yeah, I wouldn't mind them doing an overhaul for duel. They introduced it and only gave us a couple and then just called it a day, right? But I don't think there's anything else outside of that. Yeah, the only other stuff is just for the MP and whatnot. But still cool. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to this Sazabi. I don't know if I'm gonna roll on it necessarily. I might just sit on that. It depends though. And something that they didn't show here is whether or not it's also gonna have another you know, like 7-step banner that actually has like a new part or something different on it. So that'll be interesting to see if they do that too. We'll check all that when the actual update itself comes out. So until then, this is goodbye to you two people. I'll talk to y'all in the next video. Surprise! I was recording!